Hey everyone, welcome to Becca's True Crime Corner. I'm Becca, and if you are a true crime addict like me, be sure to hit that subscribe button. I put out missing persons, unsolved, and solved cases every week, so be sure to hit that button and turn on your bell notifications. And let's hop into today's case. The case I'm covering today is the Jayme Kloss case, or really I could call it the Kloss case because it involves her whole family. And if you have heard of this case, then you know just how wild and sad and crazy it is. So let's hop into today's case. James Kloss is 56 years old and his wife Denise Kloss is 46 years old. They are born and raised in Wisconsin and they have been married for 15 years. They lived in Barron, Wisconsin with their daughter Jayme Kloss, who is 13 years old. In Barron, Wisconsin, the population is less than 4,000 people. So as you would imagine, it's a very small town. Everybody knows everybody, and it's a very close and tight-knit community. James is a lover of Green Bay Packers and as well as the Wisconsin Badgers. He loved talking about old time, just like when he was in high school and his sports career. He loved just talking about pastime and catching up with friends. Denise was described as a kind soul who just loved helping people and loved being a good friend. She loved gardening and birds and angels. And Jayme was their only child. On October 15th, 2018, the whole Kloss family was woken up to a loud banging at the door. Jayme runs to her parents' rooms trying to figure out what is going on and wake them up. Their dog is also barking. As James goes to the door to figure out what is going on, Denise calls 911 and tells Jayme to get in the bathroom with her. On that 911 call, all they could hear at the dispatch center was screaming and yelling. Jayme's dad goes to the door and he asks the person on the other side to see police credentials, and he is immediately shot with a shotgun. The man comes in and he finds Jayme and her mother in the bathroom, and he shoots Jayme's mother Denise and takes Jayme with him. And when they're rushing out of the area, they actually pass police but do not get stopped. When the police get to James and Denise's home, they find them both there, unfortunately dead. And immediately they step into action and they start searching for Jayme. They start looking for surveillance videos anywhere in the area to see if any neighbors have cameras or any communities have cameras, any businesses, to see who has been in and out of this area. They also enlist in the community for massive searches to try and find Jayme. This case makes national news very quickly, and with that, all law enforcement across the nation is notified to be on the lookout. On October 2nd, police release 2 vehicles that they have seen on footage, and they tell everybody to be on the lookout for or to see if they know anybody who owns those vehicles. And these 2 vehicles were in the area during the time of the kidnapping and murders, all while Jayme's family is pleading to have Jayme back. The FBI also comes forward and offers $25,000 for information on the disappearance of Jayme and to help find her. On October 28th, there was a man who was caught from a motion camera on the Kloss's house, and he was breaking into their house, and it's October 28th, so this is after everything happened, and he was caught breaking in by police, and that camera was obviously closely being watched by them. This man was caught breaking in through the patio, and the police quickly go there. He is wearing a skull cap, and they tell him to come out with his hands up. The man inside the house was 32-year-old Kyle Jank. I could be saying that wrong, but that's how it sounds to me. So he's of Cameron, Wisconsin. He claims that he was only breaking in to steal stuff from the house and that he wasn't involved in the kidnapping or the murder. And he did have a few items on him. He had a pink tank top and some girls' underwear. And he claimed he was only there to take things he didn't think that the family would miss. He also claims that he has no idea where Jayme is, who took her, or where she could even be. He claims he had no involvement with her kidnapping, he doesn't know where she is, and he doesn't know who took her. And with that, he is cleared of her disappearance. On November 17th, the police put out to have all hunters in the area be on the lookout for anything suspicious or anything that might be Jayme's while they're out hunting, to just really keep an eye open and be alert to anything that they find. On December 4th, in the County Justice Center building, they did a Christmas tree for Jayme. It was solely decorated just for her. It was decorated in green, which is a symbol for missing children. And they decorated it and had her name kind of go down the tree, and it said Jayme, and it was specifically for her. On January 10th, 2019, 88 days after Jayme went missing, a woman is leaving her driveway to go walk her dog when a girl is walking up to her driveway, and she looked like she was in pajamas. She looked a little ragged, like she was dirty, and she was wearing pajamas in what was only about 19-ish degrees outside. Instantly, the woman thought she may be in trouble. When the girl came up to her, she said, "I am lost. I don't know where I am, and I need help." As the woman got closer to her, the girl fell into her arms and said, "I am Jayme." But when the woman started getting closer to her, she knew exactly who she was. This is something that hit news all around the Wisconsin state. I mean, it made national news, but Wisconsin alone, everybody knew about this. Everybody saw her picture. It was everywhere. It was in everybody's faces. So she knew when she saw her exactly who she was. Jayme told her what cabin she had come from, and the woman knew that it probably was not a safe place for her to stay at her cabin. Her cabin was small. It only had one door, and if this man were to come to her cabin and come after them, there would be no exit strategy and no way out. So she decided to go to another neighbor's house. This woman was actually a social worker for over 30 years, so she immediately went into action and thought about protecting Jayme and just protection and safety and getting her to safety. She asked questions to Jayme like, is he home? Is he in his car? What color is his car? The woman reassured her that she was safe and that she would keep her safe, and that they were just going to go to a neighbor's house and call the police and get more help. And this woman stayed completely calm the whole time, which helped Jayme kind of be a little relieved and feel safe and calm herself. Once again, they went to a neighbor's house, and as soon as the neighbor opened the door and saw her standing there with Jayme, she knew exactly who she was. And the other neighbor who brought her there said to her, "This is Jayme Kloss, call 911. Jayme had told the neighbors that he had held her captive, and that when friends and family would come visit the house or when he would leave, that he would make her hide under his bed. She also told the neighbors the name of the suspect and what color car he was driving. Of course, they were all worried that he was going to show up at that house and come looking for Jayme and possibly harm them, so they called the police and they told them to hurry. They said in the police call that it was definitely Jayme Kloss, but that she was dirty, thinner than usual, and she just looked very tired. Come to find out, the suspect is Jake Patterson, who is a 21-year-old who lives in Gordon, Wisconsin. And Gordon, Wisconsin is exactly where Jayme has been held hostage all this time. When they take Jayme in and they arrest Jake, they both tell the complete story of what happened. Jake had told police that one day driving on his way to work that he had seen Jayme get onto the school bus from her driveway, and he had decided in that moment that she was going to be the girl that he kidnapped. He stated he always had a thing for younger girls and that he in no way knew Jayme otherwise. He also said that he had gone to the house 2 times before and was going to go through with the kidnapping, but there was so much activity in the house that he was too scared to go through with it. Between what Jayme had said had happened that night and what James had said had happened that night, this is exactly from both of their mouths how that night happened. Jayme woke her parents that night after she saw a car pull in the driveway. James went to the door and saw a man with a gun dressed in black from head to toe. He also had a face mask on. When James went to the door, Denise and Jayme went to the bathroom to hide in the bathtub. Jayme said she heard a gunshot go off and she knew immediately that her father was dead. Denise immediately calls 911, and as she's calling 911, Jake is beating down the bathroom door. When he finally gets in the door, he sees that Denise is sitting in the bathtub with Jayme, and Denise has her whole body wrapped around Jayme to protect her. At which point, Denise is told to put duct tape on Jayme's mouth. Denise wasn't able to do this, so then Jake took the duct tape, he wrapped it around Jayme's head, her ankles, and her wrist, and then he shot Denise. right in front of Jayme. He immediately took Jayme and put her directly in the trunk of his car. It was later stated that this took under 5 minutes, somewhere about 4 minutes. So if you could imagine just how fast Jayme's entire world changed in under 5 minutes. And while they were pulling away, when they got to what was called Highway 8, they passed 3 responding cop cars. And there's actually a video of him passing the cop cars, and he's going off to the right onto kind of the shoulder, because you know, cops are coming with their lights on, you pull over, and he just did that like normal, and nobody thought anything of it. And the whole time Jayme is in the trunk and she can hear the cops and the sirens going by. For this, Jake actually took all of the lights out of his car, the lights out of his trunk, the lights inside his car, the dome lights, all of them. He took them out of his car so that nobody could see the doors he's opening, the people he's shoving in when he puts Jayme in the trunk. And he also pulls that cord out of the trunk for in case you were to lock yourself in the trunk, so that for one, she can't get out, and for two, it's not lit up. He even went as far as to put fake or stolen license plates on his car. He then takes Jayme 70 miles away from her home to his home in Gordon, Wisconsin. Once they made it to his house, he dragged her in the house to hold her captive in his home. For the next 88 days, he kept her in the house and mostly kept her in the bedroom. He had his bed pushed up against a wall, so there was only one side and the foot that was open. And when he would leave baskets and duffel bags full of weights so that he could tell if she tried to get out. He would also put her under the bed whenever friends or family would come over to essentially hide her. 2 times he thought she tried to get out from underneath the bed, which he got very angry and was punching walls and trying to just show her how crazy I guess he was and angry he was to scare her from trying again. The day Jayme escaped, he told her that he was going to be gone for a couple of hours, and she knew in that moment that this was her opportunity to try and escape. After Jayme escaped, the police found him driving home in that area, and they pulled him over. And as soon as they pulled him over, he got out of the car and he said, "I know what this is about. I did it." Everybody who knew Jake never thought he was capable of this. They all said that he was smart, nice, and quiet. He went on later to say that he never thought she would try to escape because he thought that he scared her enough to where she'd be too scared and trying to leave. He also talked to police about how he fantasized about taking and kidnapping a girl for over 2 years. When the police interviewed him, he said that if they had stopped him the night he took Jayme, he was prepared to basically go out in a shootout. And it was noted that unfortunately cops do feel guilt for not stopping him that night, being that he was on a main road. I mean, there's cars on that road. He wasn't the only one, but they didn't stop him and they passed him. And now that they know that, I think it probably carries more guilt. I know I would probably feel guilty even though they didn't even know the call they were showing up for. All they heard on the 911 call was yelling. So they didn't know they were going to a kidnapping or a murder or that type of crime scene. So they didn't know they needed to be stopping anybody. So hindsight, they really shouldn't feel any guilt because they did everything they could and she's home safe. But I understand why they would feel that way. But even if they did stop him, I think more lives probably would have been lost. During his sentencing, Jake was sentenced to 2 life sentences for Denise and James's murder. And then he was also sentenced an extra 40 years for the kidnapping of Jayme, which means he will never be released from prison. He will die in there. When the judge handed him his sentencing, he told him that he was the embodiment of pure evil. During these trials, he cried and said he wished he could take back what he did and how sorry he was and he wished he didn't do it. But the funny thing is he had her captive for 88 days. In 88 days, you didn't think to make it right. In 88 days, you didn't feel remorse for hiding her under your bed. In 88 days, you didn't think to turn yourself in. I think that's a crock of crap. Jayme went on to write an impact statement for his sentencing, and although she did not read it, she did not go to court. Once again, she was only 13 years old. She did not go to court. She had the attorney read it for her, and I'm going to read it to you guys now. Last October, Jake Patterson took a lot of things that I loved away from me. It makes me the most sad that he took away my mom and dad. I loved my mom and dad very much, and they loved me very much. They did all they could to make me happy and protect me. He took them away from me forever. I felt safe in my home, and I loved my room and all of my belongings. He took all of that too. I don't want to even see home or my stuff because of the memory of that night. My parents and my home were the most important things in my life. He took them away from me in a way that will always leave me with a horrifying memory. I have to have an alarm in the house now just so I can sleep. I used to love to go out with my friends. I love to go to school. I love to go to dance. He took all of those things away from me too. It's too hard for me to go out in public. I get scared, I get anxious. These are just ordinary things that anyone like me should be able to do. But I can't because he took them away from me. But there's some things that Jake Patterson can never take from me. He can't take my freedom. He thought that he could own me, but he was wrong. I was smarter. I watched his routine. I took back my freedom. I will always have my freedom, and he will not. Jake Patterson can never take away my courage. He thought he could control me, but he couldn't. I feel like what he did is what a coward would do. I was brave. He was not. He can never take away my spirit. He thought that he could make me like him, but he was wrong. He can't even change me or take away who I am. He can't stop me from being happy and moving forward with my life. I will go on to do great things in my life, and he will not. Jake Patterson will never have any power over me. I feel like I have some power over him because I get to tell the judge what I think should happen to him. He stole my parents from me. He stole almost everything I love from me. For 88 days, he tried to steal me, and he didn't care who he hurt or who he killed to do that. He should stay locked up forever. Such a powerful statement coming from a 13-year-old girl. I just want you all to keep that in mind. She was 13 years old. Like, I think she put that statement together better than some adults who were in her situation or who have been in her situation or who could have been in her situation. She put that statement better together than even some adults could have done. So much like of my heart goes out to her for her having to deal with this senseless act. The fact that her parents are gone, she has her whole world flipped upside down, and somehow through this all, she is able to escape. She was not stricken in fear and couldn't move. She watched what he did to her parents, and she still had enough fight in her to get out from underneath that bed, find a neighbor, and go to help. I mean, she's amazing. She's absolutely amazing. She's a 13-year-old superhero. Like, she came out of this strong, and no child should ever have to go through anything like this. But the fact that she is coming out of this and she's holding her head high and she's saying, you are not going to take that power from me. You are not going to take anything from me that you already have. That's it. That's all I'm giving you. That's it. I mean, my heart goes out to her, and she's an amazing young human being. And when she says that I'm going to do big things, I can almost guarantee you she will. So as of today, the Kloss family home has been torn down. Jayme is living with her aunt and uncle, and she's just being a kid and enjoying life. She has so many supporters behind her in her community, surrounding her. When she came home, they actually had any business in the area that had signs, had a sign that said, "Welcome home, Jayme." And such a powerful thing and such a reassuring way to come home after so much trauma. I'm sure that made her feel at least the tiniest bit of comfort to know her community loved her and supported her and backed her so much. All right, guys, that is it for today's video. I'm going to apologize right now for the lighting. I am also in a new area if you're not new around here because quarantine life, everybody is home and it's kind of chaotic and hard to get this done right now. So you might have heard some noise in the background. I'm in a little bit of a weird backgrounds or whatever, and I'm sitting in front of a window where the sun is coming in and out, so the light is probably a little wonky. I apologize. It will get better with time, especially once we get through all of this quarantine stuff. So with that being said, if you are new around here, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Thank you guys so much for watching, and let me know in the comments down below if you have any requests for any cases, and I will see you guys next week. Bye.